Good evening.
Good evening,
gentlemen.
How are you guys?
How's it going?
Everything's good. Here on another balmy Thursday night, talking AEW and a little bit of New Japan.
We got Randy here from Back Sports Page. We got Cold Skull M from Level 1 Games.
Yes, sir.
We got a good show ahead of us tonight. So let's get the show started, why don't we?
Agility from the champion. Oh, deep six! That could be it. Delivers this deep six.
Good evening, Deep Six Pro Wrestling Podcast fans. This is episode 41 in our 22nd week of our first year already.
Wow. I feel so old.
It is moving along. 40.
We're growing up so quick.
Episodes.
I need a minute.
Pretty good week in wrestling.
That it has been, man.
There is absolutely a lot to talk about. We got the G1 to talk about. We got Dynamite. But first, some quick wrestling news for you guys. AEW down about 50,000 viewers from last week. Still win the ratings for Wednesday night. 835,000 reported, down from last week's 880,000. NXT at about 696,000. It's about 140,000 viewers more this week. Not a bad week. There's a lot going on. This is the fall season. This is football season. Ton of stuff going on. We're getting to the later part of the baseball season. Not everybody's going to be watching.
It's too much.
Things
man.
come on. There's a lot of content, especially for the wrestling fans. There's a lot of content right now.
Listen, this year I'm all about the wrestling. That's all I'm doing. I'm normally
You gave up the Yankees, man.
Normally I'm a huge Yankee guy, but this year this isn't a season, man. 3 months is not a season. I don't even think we're gonna hit 3 months, right?
No, it's not even.
Not even. It's a 2.5 month season.
Exactly. So this is not baseball. Baseball is a marathon. This is a sprint. It just doesn't work, man.
And not only that, but Wayne being a Red Sox fan, even the Red Sox took the season off.
I mean,
my season, my season was over after the first week.
I mean, it should have been over years ago. Honestly.
They foamed it in. They
They saw the sign early. They just decided to. They just decided not to show up this year.
Listen, when they didn't even quarter, they were just like, "Yeah, we're not doing this, man."
Look, they didn't even have to steal the sign. They saw it. It was just one of those things where they
it
just
was clear.
Yeah, it was pretty clear at that point.
We didn't need a trash can for that one.
So
I'm all about wrestling, man. 100%. This year is my wrestling year. We got New Japan. We got Impact. We have what AEW. I'm sold, man.
Well, and it's funny, obviously, you're all about wrestling, and for me, with Back Sports Page, I sort of have to keep my eye on everything. And so, for the only thing since the restart of everything, and of course, the start of the NFL season, the reboot of the NBA season, the NHL season, and of course, Major League Baseball. The one thing I have not been able to try and keep my eye on as much as far as a sports writer is concerned is I have not followed the NHL. I think during the pandemic, the wrestling world did a very good job of still producing content the best way possible. Obviously, it's not in front of the live crowd in a sense where they'd like to be. Obviously, the big company in Connecticut now has a Thunderdome where they have fans being able to log in. Something similar that the NBA was doing where they're having fans log onto their computer and sort of being there live. AEW was putting their wrestlers ringside, and because they are in a situation where they can bring, was it 10 to 15% capacity to their into Daly's place over by the Jacksonville Jaguars Stadium. It's just a very weird time for all of sports. And I think there's a lot of people who feel the same way as you do, Em, where they just rather put their focus on one thing because they know it's not the usual elsewhere.
Hey, this is a weird year, man. But you know what? Like I said, we're riding it high. and I'm going to continue to watch wrestling. And I'm going to continue to be here weekly with you guys to discuss it.
Yeah. So more wrestling news. AEW a little stricken with COVID-19 apparently over the past couple weeks, according to the reports of John Alba from Living the Gimmick. Reported that there were some people that tested positive, people that have not shown up on TV due to precautionary purposes. We do know one wrestler that came out on Twitter who just started with the company, Ben Carter, who had an excellent match in the taping that would have taken place about a week or so ago against Scorpio Sky. So I'm a little concerned about Scorpio Sky, to be honest. And Lance Archer allegedly caught COVID-19 too, which explains why when I messaged you guys last night, like whatever happened to that 6-man tag that was advertised, they didn't even bring it up. They didn't even talk about it.
No, they brought it up. They
didn't bring it up? Okay.
They changed it to the title match instead.
Yeah, and they did bring it up on TV saying Archer was not here because of yeah.
So they quarantined him to keep everybody else safe. But again, this is going to happen in this day and age, 2020. There's going to be outbreaks. Is how you handle them, and you just got to be vigilant. I mean, NXT had one. They announced it today
within the last 7 days.
Yeah, Joseph Lee reported it today. And they had a huge sting where even some of those people that were diagnosed might have been on the main roster as hooded people for Retribution, is it right? Yeah. So there's that scare there, man. This is just it's par for the course. You know, you can't get mad at one company because there's a COVID outbreak. It's a global pandemic. It's going to happen. It's how you handle it and how you test for it. And go on, Randy.
Were you a member of Retribution, Em?
Well, and was I a member? No. Yeah. See, I stay out of politics.
Yeah. I literally had this mental picture of like every single time like chopping down the ring and breaking his head. I can picture him just going, "I can't take this anymore," and just go in here and start destroying everything. that would be M.
Yeah.
In other news, some sad news that we came across that we all woke up to yesterday morning, I believe. Mm-hmm. Somewhere around a late morning, reports came out that Animal from Legion of Doom passed away.
Rest in peace, brother.
60 years old, not very old.
No, I honestly thought he was a lot older. I was shocked to learn that he was only 60.
Yeah. For me, the Road Warriors, and I wrote this somewhere yesterday that they weren't the best wrestlers.
No, but they were entertaining.
They were entertaining and iconic, man. We all remember LOD.
No, they were different. They have the LOD pop, and I think remember when you're able to be different, have a different look, and just they were like the super. You know, everyone always likes to criticize the Ultimate Warrior for the type of business guy he was, but the thing was he was different. It was those guys were cartoon characters coming to life. And that's what the Legion of Doom and guys like them and the Ultimate Warrior were. They were cartoon characters that were able to come to life, and they're going to be missed, and definitely going to miss the Road Warrior pop. The oh, what a rush! And
but that was Hawk that would say that.
Oh, I know,
but missed him for a while.
Oh yeah, he's been gone for a while.
Yeah, so I mean, they're both gone, and then
you still got Heidenreich.
No, that doesn't count.
At least not LOD. You got Paul Ellering.
Yeah,
Paul Ellering's still here. He was the manager.
Yeah, but I mean,
it's always sad news with the amount of wrestlers that pass on from that generation, from that 80s, 90s generation, early 90s generation. They're dropping like flies.
I mean, it's a different breed of wrestler, man. It's a different time that they lived in. So
yeah,
it was a fast and hard life.
Over 50% of the WrestleMania 7 card is gone, man.
Over 50% now?
I think it's about 50%,
yeah. We still, yeah. So it's always sad to hear that. Prayers definitely out with the family.
Yeah, our thoughts are with you guys.
Yeah, definitely. The Laurinaitis family,
Yeah. They had a close-knit John Laurinaitis is very close with his brother. So let's talk a little G1.
Hold on, before we do, this portion of the program brought to you by our good friends over at Level 1 Games in Pompton Plains, New Jersey. Check them out on Route 23 South, level1games.com right now. For all of your gaming needs, take your game to the next level and relive your past only at Level 1 Games. Go ahead, Em.
You can also find me there watching G1. I'll give you guys a quick update.
Yeah, take it away.
I got the win-loss record here for A block and B block. We got Will Ospreay coming back. Big ovation. They have fans over there. It's not like the U.S. You know, they actually followed the rules. They wore their masks, and they are allowed to go to these events. This is awesome, and it does make a difference, man. Seeing everybody come back, they gave Ospreay great ovation, and right now he's 2-0, so he's at 4 points. We got Jay White, which I've been dying to meet or interview or have him ran the interview. He's sitting pretty at 4-0 as well, so he's 1-2. Kota Ibushi, he's 1-1, so he's got 2 points in the tournament so far. Jeff Cobb also 1-1. He's got 2 points. Tomohiro Ishii, unfortunately, has not won yet. He's 0-2.
He had a great match with Suzuki.
Great match, hard hitting. That's Japanese strong style for you. And
those guys, stiff shots the whole match.
And
good match.
He earns his nickname every time he goes into the ring. The Stone Pit Bull. We got Kazuchika Okada. He's surprisingly at 1-1, so he's got 2 points in this tournament. He dropped one to Kota Ibushi in the first night.
That was a huge rub for Ibushi.
It really was. He beat Ibushi beat him last year in the G1, and he beat him this year in the G1. So that's something to keep an eye on. Yujiro Takahashi, Bullet Club favorite, unfortunately has not won. He's 0-2. Tai Chi, he's 2-0, so he's got 4 points. Minoru Suzuki is at 1-1, so he's 2 points. And lastly, in A block, Shingo Takagi, and he's winless, so he's at 0 points in A block. In B block, we have Sonata, unfortunately, is 0-2. He's winless, so he's got no points. Juice Robinson, which is very surprising. He came back with a Blues Brothers look. Which was very interesting.
Huge win today.
Huge win.
Should I say this morning?
Yeah, he's got 2 wins under his belt, so he's at 4 points. Yoshihashi, unfortunately, continues his losing streak. He's at 0. He's 0 points as well. Toru Yano, he's at 4 points.
Wow,
this is 2020. This is what happens. So I'll have to repeat it. Toru Yano is at 4 points with 2 wins.
He's been pretty funny.
Yeah. Hiroki Goto, he's at 2 points with 1 win. Kenta is at 2 points with 1 win. Zack Sabre Jr., again, 2 points.
He's been brilliant, by the way.
Oh, great matches. Evil with 1 win, 2 points. Hiroshi Tanahashi, winless, which is very odd. And finally, Tetsuya Naito in Block B has 2 wins, so he's at 4 points. And so far, there's only been 4 nights, and those are your scores so far.
Who do you feel has been your MVP? Who's your personal MVP in this tournament so far after the last couple nights?
It's still very early, but Naito has he's impressed me. There's never been an IWGP heavyweight champion to win the tournament, the whole G1. I don't think he's going to make it, but he's very impressive right now. I don't know who's going to stop him, and especially in Block B. I really can't pick out a name. Maybe Evil. Or maybe even Sonata might pull out the surprise victory against his LIJ brethren.
I would think that you got to believe that we may end up with Naito going to the finals.
I think so. That's what they did with Okada last year. So
maybe against Ospreay.
He went to the finals in his block and then lost to Ibushi. So maybe Naito does go to the finals and loses to somebody in A block.
I wouldn't mind a rematch too, Naito and Ibushi. That could be some good storytelling there.
I wouldn't mind that. I don't think I've seen that. Right? Oh no, they have not. They didn't fight in the G1. Not in the G1. The Wrestle Kingdom. That was Naito and Jay White and Ibushi versus Okada in the night one. So it was interesting. We'll have to keep an eye on it. Again, it's very early in the tournament. We still got to October 19th. I see some of these guys winless now, but they won't be winless for long. And this will be a very interesting tournament.
Yeah, Zack Sabre Jr. Looking very good. Cobb had a decent match. This tournament's been amazing so far, and luckily, so far through 4 days of it, I've been able to stay on top of it, which is awesome.
Now listen, so if you got $9.99, if you got $9.99, I suggest you spend it on New Japan.
It's been well worth the $9.99.
Yeah, they're gonna have to start paying me at this point because I'm constantly talking about them and pushing them out there.
Oh, I know. I see the glare on your face right now.
Send me some T-shirts.
I know you're happy about this.
But now we get to talk about AEW, and I got my AEW T-shirt on. This is exciting, man.
Pretty decent show of AEW.
Yeah, definitely.
We had double Dynamite this week.
I missed the first one. I'm ashamed to say.
Did you have it on DVR at all?
Yeah, I have to catch up. Again, there's so much wrestling to catch up on.
Oh, yeah. I only missed one show so far, and that's NXT and Impact. Well, I miss Impact every week, but I got to start watching them because I know they're picking up some steam a little bit down there as well.
Man.
Yeah.
And Brian Myers.
Yeah.
Well, our own Tommy Smith went on the Impact conference call this week and spoke with both Eric Young and Rich Swann.
Awesome, dude.
Yeah, but the boy's making waves. He's growing up so quick. All right, let's talk.
So, AEW Dynamite opens up with the best man, Miro and Kip Sabian versus Joey Janela and Sunday Kiss.
Jersey boys.
I am not a fan of. I'm not really a fan of Joey Janela either. I'm not a fan of Sunny Kiss.
Why?
But Sunny Kiss tore it up.
Yes.
Did he ever?
I gotta tell you, when they came out, the first thing I said was, all right, who's jobbing to Miro and Sabian? And here comes Janela and Sunny Kiss. I was like, all right, there's our victims tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
But they didn't look like victims. That was what was good about it.
Yeah,
so
you know what?
Miro didn't get much of the wrestling time. Kid Sabian was carrying a lot of that match for the first majority of the match till the end.
But that's a given, though, right? Like because
you got to save it.
He got a lot of save it. You also got a lot of ring rust on him too. He hasn't been in the ring with anybody in almost a year. But I got to tell you though, he certainly looked in probably the best shape that I've seen him in a long time. And the other thing with that combination too, we've been on the show talking about how we don't want to see Hangman and Omega together as a tag team. I really want to see Miro have a singles run here. Just don't throw him to Moxley that quickly, but I definitely want to see Miro have a single run.
Oh, he will.
Yeah, you just got to give him time. This is an introduction, and again, they're not going to push him real fast. Oh, look, this guy's on a singles run. They got to make us wait. They got to make us want.
They may have learned from Brody and Hager. They may have learned, so they're gonna hopefully slow build. I wouldn't mind. I'd prefer the slow build.
Yeah, exactly. You got to let people want it and crave it. You can't just give it all away, man.
But you can't do this. You can't do this stop and go. The stop and go.
That too, man.
The other promotion's been major fault of that. AEW not too much, but Miro picks up the win. He didn't get a whole lot of offense as he didn't really come into the match until later on. But later we see him. He looked very good, Randy, like you said, in very good shape. But he was actually getting in much better shape before he even came down to AEW. You just haven't seen him on TV for a while. but he's been looking good for a while, since actually the beginning of the year.
Been on Twitch.
Yeah, I was going to say,
I
watch him on Twitch, maybe.
Yeah.
I noticed he used the same move set too that he always did in WWE, which is interesting. So, a little side note: I know you guys don't like to talk a little WWE, but this kind of ties in. Lana, she's been getting buried big time on Mondays and on the pay-per-view. 2 weeks in a row, taking the submission and pinfall. Thrown through the commentators through the commentator tables 2 weeks in a row now. So she has been taking a shellacking, and this ever since Miro was on TV. So I have a feeling that
bitter old man,
get out the shovel.
So what you're saying is that Vince might be a little petty. Can that be
Vince?
Vince, yeah, right.
Yeah,
that's what I thought.
Nah. He wishes him a congratulations. Yeah. He sent them a box of candy.
What is it? Future endeavors, man.
Yeah,
we wish you well.
Listen, if there's anything we could do in the future to help you, just let us know. Just let us know. By the way, your wife is on TV. Don't worry.
Yeah, taking it through the table.
That's it. It's all right. We're just gonna have have her go through the announce table. Listen, we're gonna have Michael Cole come into the ring and pin her and spank her. Yeah, it's all right. It's all good TV. Think of the story. It's such good. You know what? It's such good. You know what?
But we've drifted off a little bit. The match that we were just talking about was actually very good, man. Like you got to give it to Sonny Kiss and Joey Janela. They are great wrestlers, and they looked the part here. You know, we all knew who was taking the victory, but at least they made the other team work for it. And your victors are the best man, Miro, and Kip Sabian.
And Sonny Kiss noticeably much better this week. Noticeably better.
Wait, no, he's.
I have to give
him noticeably better.
I see the progression from last year for sure.
What's the difference? I've seen nothing different about this guy.
The only difference is he has TV time now.
Yeah, pretty much.
Seriously, it's not. Look, there's that fine line of good wrestling and entertainment, and Sonny Kiss does a very good job of making you feel entertained when you're watching. Because as much as he is bordering that line, like we've always talked about in the past, as far as entertainment, and if you look back to the Casino Battle Royal last year, when he had that moment with, Tommy Dreamer. I think that you have to really, again, notice that line between entertainment, and Sonny Kiss does a very good job. Em, what do you think?
Dude, like I've always been a fan of Sonny Kiss. He's a wrestler. From what I've heard, he's gender fluid. I used to get mad at JR because he'd always be like she, and I'm like, God damn it, it's a he. But then I was like,
he did it again. He did it again during the match yesterday.
He explained it though. He did
explain it. He did explain it. Gender fluid. So he doesn't mind being called a she, or maybe he wants to be called a she. That's cool. Like, at first I thought it was JR just losing his goddamn mind, but now I know that it's something that the performer prefers, so I'm cool with it. But I've always liked those Jersey boys, man. They can go. You just don't see them often, and I think that's one of the travesties here, is that they should be on TV a little more often. Joey Janela and Sonny Kiss, definitely
good opening match.
Yeah,
they weren't buried at the get-go.
They were not. They had their offense, and again, we all knew who was going to win.
Yeah,
but they had to work for it.
Yeah. Eddie Kingston calls out Moxley early ahead of their match. Great promo, demanding the hard cam. I absolutely loved it. Great promo. And he was explaining that he gets his shot because he never got eliminated at the Casino Battle Royale. Saying that he didn't sell out to the devil, that he stayed in the land of the fighters. And if you guys don't know, when he said he didn't sell out to the devil, he didn't sell out to going up north to Connecticut to work with Vince McMahon. Yeah. And then we see Mox confronted. We see Eddie Kingston confronted by Mox, and then the referees came in to stop a potential brawl, save their match for later on in the night.
Listen, that dude has a golden tongue, man. I don't know how no one has really. I can't say no one has taken advantage, and because he's been in top spots. He was the Chikara champion at one point for a while. So, but man, he should have been on TV a lot more. Like this dude. If there were tickets to buy, I'd be buying them because I heard him talk the way he did. You know, he couldn't talk people into the building. Especially, he talks a little like I talk. You know, he's got the accent, so I'm cool with it.
Listen, Em, I looked at you right when Eddie Kingston started talking and he cut that promo. I basically said the same thing, man. I said he sold me.
Yeah, I was ready to watch, man. I had no problem.
He told me, I'm like, Michael, that's a great promo guy, man. Give him the microphone. Him and Taz, I think, are the two best promo guys in AEW. And yes, they are both New Yorkers, Em. Both New York.
They got to represent. And I love it because, like I said, I hear the accent. I hear my accent. Just there's nothing but love for my people.
Eddie Kingston was definitely awesome in this promo. We saw more of him later on in the show against Jon Moxley, him defending against Eddie Kingston, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But we saw Hangman versus Evil Uno in singles action once again. Interesting enough, Kenny Omega at the commentary booth. Hangman looked great in victory with that buckshot lariat. Kenny Omega, the storytelling continues that he insists he's going to stay he's going to focus on the singles career, and he says that he's going to pick a spot whenever he's ready.
Listen.
Which is interesting because Randy, I think you may have brought it up. We were talking about last week the possibility that maybe Jon Moxley will have his match against Lance Archer, with Lance Archer getting his title shot. And then maybe after that, since it's a 1-year anniversary show, big show, they got to end it somehow with Kenny Omega possibly showing up. Do you think that this is a scenario that we see that Kenny Omega was possibly alluding to with the beginning of his comeback of his singles career?
As much as my heel-minded friend below me over here would like to have, I think right now they are trying to. I think they're hinting towards. I feel like you have Paige is like sort of like stalking Omega a little bit.
He's not stalking.
No, you know what I mean. Like he's trying to really push the tag team because they make sure they make the point on TV saying this match was originally offered as a tag match, and now they're not. They're not doing that because Omega doesn't want to do that. But Omega is just constantly saying, I want a singles career. Paige, we have not heard from Paige for 2 weeks. You can tell he wants to do the tag team thing for a while. And, I just don't think they're going to have Omegas go totally crazy on Moxley. I just don't see it happening.
Hey, I totally disagree with you, man. It would be 1,000% believable for Kenny to finally go after Moxley. Listen, Moxley's got to give up that title. He's got to do it soon. It'd be perfect. You get Archer out of the way, and Kenny takes over, and you still have Hangman in that story, right? He still wants to be tag team. We don't have to forget about that instant, that aspect of the story, but let it get to the point where Hangman really gets slow, man. He really wants to tag team. Kenny, he's not giving it to him. And then finally, Kenny snaps on him, and he just beats the crap out of him, man. And you got to get Hangman lower. He's not low enough. And right now they're teasing me because, again, at the end of this match, I'm expecting something. And Kenny just walks away, right? The match itself was serviceable. It was great. I love watching Hangman in the ring, dude. He's quickly become like one of my favorite in AEW. But I want some progression on this.
I hate to say this. I used to make fun of you about how much you loved Hangman Page. But ever since he went back into the singles ranks and they started this story, me personally, the last 2 or 3 singles matches he's had, I really dug it. I really dig him. Dude. He's a talented guy. As long as but I don't want to say as long as he has the right dance partner, but so far he's been able to adjust his styles to smaller guys like Pac to the bigger guys like Brody Lee and the guys from the Dark Order with Evil Uno this past yesterday. I really have gotten into Adam Page, and one of the things I also said to you, like the final thing for me is if I start liking your theme song,
yeah,
dude, I mean, and like I said to you yesterday, I'm like I like his theme song now.
yeah.
I'm a fan of I'm a fan of the Hangman.
You know, he was Bullet Club.
Ah, but look right there, right there. Look, he's
Exactly,
he's
dude.
right there.
Yeah, but that's the Elite. Get out of here.
Wait, but look, who's right there, Em? Who's that? That's
I don't
Marty.
care.
That's Marty. That's Marty.
Exactly. That's the Elite. We're talking Bullet Club. I said Bullet Club.
Oh, I apologize. I apologize.
No, but he did have that theme for this whole time. I love the fact that they keep their themes. Hikaru Shida still has her theme. Hangman, it's great.
Is Kenny using the same theme he used in Japan or no?
No, this is a new theme.
And so what about the Bucks? The Bucks are using the same one they did in ROH, right?
ROH, I believe.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, but
speaking of the Bucks, Nick Jackson acting a little bit heel-like, smashing Tony Schiavone's cell phone.
Poor Tony.
Hey, it had to happen, man.
I tweeted Tony Schiavone. I told him, listen.
You got it.
This was after the show. I told him, listen, I work in the cell phone business. And if you need any help getting you into a new phone, I got you. You go on to phoneclaim.com, put in your insurance claim. You can catch the tweet. It's on there. But anyhow, I tweeted at him. Needless to say, I haven't heard back yet. I guess that's because his phone's still damaged. But anyway.
Or it might have been one of those gimmick phones, you can get from boxofgimmicks.com.
Oh, right, Randy had to kill it. Kayfabe, Randy. Kayfabe. You're breaking it right now.
One of the wrestlers just upgraded their devices and they don't need the old ones. So Tony Schiavone is picked on every week. I love it though.
Between the Young Bucks and Britt Baker, Tony Schiavone didn't stand a chance coming back.
It's great though. It endears him to the fans.
We got Orange Cassidy versus Brody Lee for the TNT title. We had that match. You knew that was coming. Did you guys see the size difference between the two of them?
Yeah.
I listen. I understand my
good showing by Orange Cassidy. By the way,
I understand my friend who's right here. His disgust and his frustration. This guy right there, his frustration with the Orange Man, Orange Cassidy. But I have to tell you, the match wasn't bad. But again, I think right now M's frustration with the way they booked him has soured his feelings on the Orange Man.
It's Roman Jr. All right, he's even got the guy
no.
Orange.
It's Orange Reigns.
Yeah, Orange Reigns.
The difference is
Roman
Orange,
Cassidy.
The difference is Orange Cassidy has more losses than Roman has. He says
for the moment.
Well, listen, Orange has 5 losses. You tell me the last time Roman had 5 losses in 5 years. Come on now.
Nevertheless, man, give him time. He's gonna have the same type of record soon.
But with all the hatred for Orange Cassidy aside, the match itself wasn't bad. But there were some moments in that match where you saw the size difference be like a little bit unbelievable. Like, for example, you saw that Brody Lee threw himself through the ropes before he did the double elbow suicida. There's some things that just didn't work in that match, and Orange Cassidy would have had no right to win that match because of.
But he came close.
He came close, but at the end of
too close.
The one thing that I still don't like that they the one thing I don't like about this match was they are not forwarding the story still of the Dark Order. The Cabana thing to me was still very intriguing. I wanted to see how long they can start using him as a punching bag and him not understanding why. I still like that part of it. And then, of course, the big reveal with Cody coming out.
Well, speaking of that, get ahead of me.
Yeah, you're spoiling it, Randy. You're on a roll today. Killing kayfabe, getting ahead of us.
If anyone needs me, I'll be upstairs. All right.
Yes. Speaking of which, there was forward progression in this, by the way. The lights go out, and it's Cody. He dyed his hair. He looks like Cody from 2010 with the dark brown hair. We notice a little bit of a change in Cody, a little more aggression as he is punished in the Dark Order. The members, Brody Lee, ran for the hills.
I liked Cody's return. I marked out a little bit for his music and the little entrance, and I liked Brody's promo afterwards on how he's accusing Cody of doing everything that he's doing. He's like, the audacity of you having other people do work for you. I'm like, you jerk, and you're doing the exact same thing. No, okay, wait a minute. Yeah, I was like, wait a minute. Yeah, okay, never mind. That's right. Okay, I see.
Perfect word. Yeah.
And then as soon as he made the reference to the dog collar match, I'm like, oh, we haven't seen one of those in a really long time. And if it's anything like Piper Valentine back from like the early 80s, that's the type of dog collar match I want to see. If it's anything like we saw recently in the Connecticut company, I'm not interested.
Yeah, no, it's got to be brutal. And I think that, listen, after seeing the street fight minus Orange Cassidy last week, like, dude, that's the type of stuff you got to give us, man. You got to give us unabashed violence. That's what wrestling is sometimes. It's like these guys don't like each other. Don't light-foot it, man. See, I was going to use another word, but then I caught myself. Just, lay it in there, man. You got to beat the crap out of each other.
No, and I think they've been, like I think if the one thing you don't have to question with an AEW is if these guys are going to go all out and start doing some things that are more edgy. Look, we saw Eddie Kingston and Cody Rhodes put thumbtacks.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, I mean, so you had guys who are going to take chances. And by the way, kudos to Cody for being one of the owners or one of the head guys of the company. And he's the one one of the executives of the company, and he's the one who's sitting there going through the tax and doing some of this crazy stuff.
No, so, I give him credit. The dude puts in the work, like he says.
Now, let me ask you: do we get Cody Rhodes? This wasn't even in my notes, but now they're clearly building the Cody Rhodes versus Brody Lee for a rematch. So we think. Do we get that in 2 weeks' time? Was it 2 weeks or 3 weeks away with the anniversary show on Dynamite?
No,
that's a great question.
Why not? That's a big Dynamite, Randy.
I'll tell you why. I think if I were them, I don't put this title belt anywhere near this dog collar match. I think
you don't put the match. You don't put the dog collar match with the title match. Is that what you said?
I'm saying that because of all the personal issue they're trying to do with the family and everything, this is more of a grudge match. It's not about the championship. You could put the championship.
It's always about the championship, man.
I'm saying that you can definitely make this this can be more than just a one match.
No, I agree, but it's got to be the championship.
Okay, then would you give it back to Cody right away? Because it's only been 5 weeks since this guy.
Personally, no, I would not.
I know you're a heel at heart. You keep that thing on him for like the next year and a half.
Listen, the way Cody got taken out, first of all, you can't give him a quick match. All right, you gotta milk this for a little bit. You gotta have some more title defenses. If Cody is gonna win it back, then fine. I won't be thrilled about it, but I'll take my vitamins and I'll have to make do with it. But I don't think it should happen. I mean, there's too much for Brody to do for him to just drop it back to Cody so soon.
Let me ask you a question. I just brought up the Colt Cabana point from that's been going on that they're building up a little bit.
It could be a factor going forward.
Yeah, that's my question. Would you have it where would you be okay with the fact that if they're having that match and he drops the belt because of another mistake that Colt Cabana makes?
I mean, it would make a lot of sense.
Okay,
it would progress their story, but would I want to see him drop it? No, I think it's too soon for him to drop it. It's only been 5 weeks. I didn't even realize it was that long, honestly.
No, I agree with you 110%. I just think that I don't want to blow off the story so quickly with giving him the belt back. I think they're because of the jumping of the whole entire family, taking out Dustin, taking out QT, taking out Brandy, taking out Allie, taking out everybody.
I mean, it had to happen, honestly, man, because I was getting real tired of watching the faces stand tall each and every week.
Well, you had to do that during the pandemic. As soon as you started,
you did not have to do that. All right.
Okay. Put it this way: That's what they did during the pandemic.
All
They didn't
right,
have-
exactly.
But if you're a heel like M, you want the heels to win every week.
Yeah,
Well,
if it was
not
up,
every week, but
It
God damn, like
if it
how
was up,
win some matches. It's like look at Santana and Ortiz right now. It's like you win on Dark, but you lose on Dynamite.
if it was up to MU here, and watch our hero go to the journey, and as he's getting to reach the top, the villain knocks him back down so he can stand.
Again, it's storytelling. If the bad guys are formidable, then it makes a more compelling storyline. You gotta have these guys winning.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And listen, you brought up Santana and Ortiz. They need some wins.
And not on Dark. They need to have actual wins on Dynamite.
It's funny. A comment was made because the Blade and Butcher were not on TV this week. That was brought up, and I think that might be something with the COVID test because they said a couple of guys were not there. Okay, so but you're talking about Santana Ortiz needing some wins. Blade and Butcher needs some wins. You have a lot of tag teams there, and like we were talking about, the three of us have been very critical about the Jericho Hager thing. We don't want to see them as a tag team. That's why I'm a little shaky about putting Miro and Sabian as a tag team. Again, you still have a long list of tag teams here. You don't need to put a couple single guys together and put another tag team in the rankings, which, by the way, if you're number 5 in this week's rankings, next week you might be the number 1 contender. I just don't know how that really, really, really works. Especially,
but the number 5 is the new number 1 contender, Randy. You didn't know that?
Apparently,
kayfabe.
Listen, after that, the best friends came into the street fight last week, the number 4 seed, and now this week they're the number 1 seed. The Bucks are the number 2 seed. The week before they weren't even ranked, so I don't get it.
I honestly don't. Yeah, I lost it, and that was my fear with the ranking system, that they would lose me, and they did it.
Speaking of the best friends,
I like the records though. I like the records.
Yeah, that's cool.
Speaking of the best friends, it looked like we were gonna get an impromptu tag title match, but FTR at first accepted, and then they decided to back out.
Listen, they did that out of the goodness. Yeah, they did that out of the goodness of their hearts. They knew that they were hurt from the match last week. They explained it. All right, in plain English. They were like, look, we're going to let you heal up.
Oh, they were looking out for their best interest, all right?
Yeah, they were like, look, we want to give the people a great match. We can't do that with you all beat up. So, we'll wait a little bit. That's fine. I'm cool with that.
I will tell you, for a tag team that has been the center focus of the show over the last few weeks, I almost felt like this was just something to do for them just to be on TV. That's what I honestly felt about this segment.
Well, no, there's going to be a match. It's progressing towards the match next week, I believe.
But I watched that segment. I was just like, I'd rather them just put that as a segment on Dark or something, because it felt like that was just a time filler or something else that they could be progressing more.
Yeah, but this is wrestling, man. We're going to get that. Yeah.
Why do you always fight with me? Let me.
That's petty.
Because you are my rival, Randy.
Listen,
we shall always get odds.
You and I are going to team up, and then I'm going to be turned on by you at a certain point, and I understand
1,000%. 1,000%. I will hit you with the title and leave you for dead in that ring.
And then the hero will come back and
No, this is my story, man. That ain't happening.
And like, orange Cassidy appears out of nowhere.
Oh, you know how to ruin things.
I was like, this is my story, because this is all I got right now, man.
Yeah, this is my life. This is the best I have. Leave me alone. All wrestling, man.
So that stipulation for next week is if the way it goes is if best friends best friends have to beat FTR in 20 minutes. If they don't, then the time runs out. FTR automatically gets the win.
The W, baby. That's what it's about.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We have there's Tommy Smith with our first comments of the night. For those of you who are watching, feel free to join the discussion. This show's for you guys too. Tommy Smith says, I like AEW. So do we. That's why we're talking about it.
Hey, Tommy. I like AEW too.
This one's for you, buddy. This one's for you.
I have nothing to drink, but it's 5 o'clock somewhere, buddy.
By the way, he has said in our conference calls he's not sure if he really likes the label of being an alcoholic. But
yeah, which you put on him. I don't know what you're telling us.
Listen, you're the one who keeps on saying it's happy hour somewhere as well.
Yeah, because you keep going at him. Oh, you're drinking. So I gotta throw the man a bone and be like, listen, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, man.
Listen, actually, I blame Wayne because he put him in this situation.
Oh, it's Wayne's fault. The tweener, it's his fault? Nah, I doubt it. You're the critical baby face. You're gonna turn heel one day.
Listen. I just want to go on record saying this is 5% Wayne's fault.
Yeah. You know what? I can concur with that. Moving on.
Ivelisse and Diamante versus Sheeta and Thunder Rosa.
Yes, Em, let's talk about this match, Em.
Sheeta.
Do we have to? Listen,
Em,
who said we were going to talk about it?
Yeah, he's just going to tell you what happened, and that's it.
Oh, okay.
That's
I didn't answer your comments. Darn it.
He's trying to heal it up now, see? I've taught him well.
Yes, Em, let's talk about this wonderful technical match that we got to watch.
Listen, Sheeta and Thunder Rosa are great. I shall leave it at that. I shall.
No. Let me ask you, Em. You may have your wish eventually. Do you think? And I don't want to see this by any means, but do you think NWA goes under?
No,
at all, because you know where Thunder Rosa is going if it does.
I don't think NWA is going under. It has a fan base, man. I'm personally not a big fan. I hate the aesthetics of it.
But are they able to sustain this pandemic?
I think they will. I think it's just in due time. Randy,
what do you think?
Mind your manners.
Listen, I've seen a couple of the NWA Power shows. Again, it's definitely an acquired taste. If you like to have a studio wrestling show, it has a hokey feel to it, but it's fun. And I thought, do I think it's going to survive? Yeah, but they need an audience in there for that show to work. So that's just the way it is.
No, I think, listen, in due time, when you can let people in again, they'll be fine. And Billy Corgan he's not gonna let it go under. This is all he's ever wanted. He wanted TNA. Now he has NWA. It's not going anywhere. But for the time being, you might as well have listen. At the end of the day, this will get more eyes on NWA when they do come back.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's a win-win situation, and I think at the end, NWA has more to gain from this. They have the national stage right now. Their women's champion is teaming up with the AEW women's champion, and Thunder Rosa is a hell of a wrestler. Honestly, and I'll say this again, I don't know how the hell they didn't sign her long ago. They should have picked her up. I don't know how NWA got to her first, man. I don't know.
I think she was NWA was on before AEW, so she would have been signed.
She signed after AEW, man, because I was already hoping.
Emma's been all over this.
Yeah, man. Like, I'm a big Thunder Rosa supporter, man. So I wanted her in AEW.
No, that's also
when she signed. I was like, oh, Jesus.
That's almost like why the Good Brothers signed with Impact. How come they didn't come over to AEW? But there might have been something in the release. We heard that story on Talking Shop with Talking Jericho. Like, we finally come to, okay with it. We didn't go to AEW when it started. And Jericho's like, well, I'm not mad at you anymore.
Exactly. No, I mean, they should have gone.
That would have been something, man. That opening episode of Dynamite, and Jericho brings out his mystery partners, and it was the Good Brothers.
Exactly. They were supposed to be in the inner circle, right?
Yeah. It was supposed to be them instead of Santana and Ortiz.
But you know what? I love Santana and Ortiz. I'm glad it worked out this way.
Yeah, I wonder why you like Santana and Ortiz, M.
They're my people from the block, baby. From the block.
Sheeta and Thunder Rosa with the win. Thunder Rosa looked great. I fully expect another match in Thunder Rosa and Sheeta eventually down the road. Right now they're having a little love fest. They're becoming friendly and what have you. But hello. We are at the main event. Moxley versus Kingston.
Yes.
Moxley defending his title against Kingston, and as you guys know, this is supposed to be the 6-man tag match that was advertised of Moxley, Hobbs, and Darby Allin versus Starks, Brian Cage, and Lance Archer. But due to the fact that certain people could not show up due to COVID, they called an audible and gave us a AEW title match.
Dude, I was ecstatic about this match, man. It was hard hitting. It was everything it was supposed to be until the very end. I hated the way it ended. It was very anticlimactic, but the rest of the match, man, I had no problem with.
Are you referring to the finish?
The finish, yeah.
Okay, I do feel you on that, Randy. What did you think about the match itself before we move forward?
I thought it was fine. The chops, my God, those chops! That oh my God, it was so brutal. But you know what? I had no problem with the match. I thought the match was fun, and even to a point because we know where they're going for the aftermath. We even said the last 3 minutes, you knew beatdowns were coming. With the Lucha Brothers. That's when we really noticed that Blade and Butcher were nowhere to be found. And then you had Darby Allin come in, Will Hobbs come in. We all knew that was going to happen, like you guys said. It's just now interesting to see with Archer and Jake coming back how Eddie Kingston and his stable is going to fit in with Taz and Starks and Cage. We're all that together. So now if it's all these guys versus Moxley, it's a little...
Yeah, but I don't think Archer is not guaranteed to come back. He can take longer than 2 weeks if he's really sick.
Well,
so
they're
come up for now.
Yeah, but what they're doing is they're putting a contingency plan in place.
Yeah, definitely.
But my big thing is you went from saying Jake and Taz have all their boys together, those 3 guys together. And they're saying, don't worry about what Eddie Kingston and his boys are doing. And now we're saying, oh, okay, but we're going to team with Eddie Kingston and his boys because the big guy's not around. But when the big guy comes back, well, we'll take a look. We'll deal with that when we get to it. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Sometimes that's the way you got to roll, man. And this is that type of year where it's like, I guess this is what we're doing, man.
Yeah,
so I'm cool with it. I can't nitpick it, especially in 2020. If you would have done this last year, yeah, you would have heard my mouth. But this year, I'm gonna let this slide.
We have to sort of roll with the punches on this and just go with it. But like Tony Khan said to us, 48 weeks of the year, he's going to be focusing on the wrestling and the action part of it. Those 4 shows leading into pay-per-views, that's when he'll worry more about the story. But the other 48 weeks, he's worried about a little bit more. He'll do some story, but he's more interested in the action. Which is good because you know what? That's one of the things that we're missing here in the U.S. is the wrestling action. That's why I tune in weekly. You know, it's. I guess I'm backwards as a fan. I want to see the wrestling, and then I want to see the storyline.
AEW has done pretty well. Good balance there. New Japan is more wrestling heavy.
Exactly. That's my.
They do all their storytelling in the ring.
Exactly,
and that's it's different, but that's not for everybody. But it's been great. But WWE, it's a whole other story.
Goddamn soap opera, and I'll mess at that.
And I think again, I'm going to say this because I'm not joking around. I'm not being a jerk like I normally am, or trying to.
At least you admit it.
Yeah, well, sometimes I am on purposely, but there's other times I'm not. But a lot of times, me being a jerk is not on camera; it's on the chat. And being honest. But I'm being 100% honest when I say this. Wayne, you and I will never have the experience of being in the ring wrestling. M has been there, so he.
How do you know that?
Okay, listen. There's 5% of you that wants to be outside.
Amazing Red is right up the road. Amazing Red is right up the road. All I gotta do is knock.
You know he trained in my gym, right?
And then I'll train.
Wayne, you know he trained at my gym, right?
Oh,
I saw him as a kid.
Yeah, listen, Wayne. I'm so okay. As of right now, you and I have never been in the ring. M has. So M also has a different amount of respect for the business than we do because he's been in the ring. So again, to my own fault, I am not as into New Japan as M or you because you guys have been watching it more. But we also have signed away now from what the WWE is and was, because we look at it now, it's just one big cluster run by one guy. And if that one man doesn't like what you're doing, he puts you out to pastor or makes you dress up as a Red Rooster or it makes you be Val Venus. It doesn't matter. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, so he doesn't care how good of a worker you are. If he can't find a way to market you, then you're no good to him. But even though you could be a big star, look at a guy like Cody Rhodes over in, like, one of the reasons why I think I enjoy AEW is because it's a little less story and it's still ring action, but in a way it still has its own entertainment to it, but it's a lot more ring action. You take a guy like Cody, who he made Stardust, and when Cody leaves, he pretty much called everybody out saying, hey, as much as I love this business and I'm a second generation guy, I want to be successful in this business, but I have writers here who are worried about hitting on the girls, and I'm not going to get that opportunity in the ring. So, at the end of the day, I want to take my opportunity elsewhere, but there's nowhere to go. So what did he do? He helped create something. So I think at this point in time, you've had more experience in the ring, so the New Japan style, especially for you, because you've been taught how to be a storyteller in the ring, that becomes much more appealing for you. I can't speak for Wayne, but I can only speak for myself. I'm now transitioning out of the WWE world, and I'm seeing, okay, wow, look at all this other wrestling that's out there. So it's a really an interesting time for a wrestling fan. Let's move on because I got off the topic.
You're opening your third eye. You're wrestling third eye. You're discovering many different styles.
And there's nothing wrong with that. And I think it's okay that everybody works at their own pace. But I think we're all getting there.
Yeah, I'm gonna force you to sit there and watch like hours of New Japan. It's gonna happen, man. It's gonna be like the Clockwork Orange. I'm just gonna have your eyes like this. I can't take it. They're beating the crap out of each other, and I'm just gonna be in the corner like, yes.
I told Randy all he has to do is get up 2 hours early.
Yeah, exactly. Right. It's like you're already up early.
You'll be able to watch it every day.
Like,
so wake up at 4:30 in the morning instead of 6:30. It won't be good.
Yeah, exactly. What the hell? You're
early bird. You weren't getting up at 4 o'clock every day to walk the dog.
Yeah, same thing. Now you just get to watch really, really good wrestling.
There's no more dog.
Getting back to the main event, Moxley tapped out Eddie Kingston. And like you said, it was a little bit of an underwhelming.
Yes,
finish. Definitely. This wasn't my favorite Eddie Kingston match that I've seen so far. I think he worked a lot. It was good. Definitely didn't say it bad. It was good. He worked a lot better with Cody for sure.
They're really
a little bit of a drop off there.
Yeah, two totally different styles.
Yeah, I don't know. Moxley he's really depending a lot on like MMA style, and I honestly I don't dig it, man. It's like I like his brawling and everything else is, but when he starts doing all these holds, I kind of get bored. And which is weird because again, I watch New Japan, they're all constantly doing holds, but those holds look like they're gonna I'm just gonna rip this out of its socket. Okay.
Moving on, we're gonna bring this plane in for landing. For those of you that are watching, or actually for those of you that are listening, rather. This will be accessible to you guys probably on Friday or Saturday. It's 11:26 p.m. right now, Eastern time. We're about an hour or two, or maybe in M's case, maybe 4 hours, 5 hours away from bedtime. I'm about an hour or two away from bedtime, so we gotta wrap this up soon. But we got next week on AEW. We have the return of Britt Baker. I'm very happy about this. I saw that she was running a couple of weeks ago in the last pay-per-view. Almost 4 weeks now?
Has it? Yeah, it's been almost 4 weeks.
It's been almost 4 weeks. So I knew that she was very close when I saw her, putting moves on in that gimmick match that they had at the dentist's office, and then she was running around. So I felt like I knew she was coming back very, very soon, and we're getting her next week. Chris Jericho versus Isaiah Cassidy. What did you guys think of their promo?
They're young. They still got a ways to go, but you got to keep at it, man. I say it all the time. You got to go out there and do it. That's the only way you're going to get better. And this was them doing it so they can get better. It's not where it needs to be, but I say give it time, man, and they'll get there. They're very young. What, 23?
Yeah, and Jericho. You can tell when Isaiah was talking and Jericho started talking. You could tell the difference between the two, but I'll tell you, but yeah, like you're going to learn by doing in this situation.
He's young. I mean, you can tell Isaiah Cassidy's got that look. He's got some it factor to him. He can work. If he stays healthy, just give him time. Just give him a couple of years. I think Isaiah Cassidy could be the future of the company, future tag team stars of the company. FTR with Tully Blanchard versus. Oh, I'm sorry. My apologies. So I got a correction. FTR not facing Best Friends next week, facing SCU. So that is next week in a 20-minute brush with greatness match. So SCU doesn't win. SCU doesn't win. In 20 minutes, FTR gets the automatic win.
It's going to happen, man. One of the best tag teams in the world right now. Except GOD. I like GOD.
Ricky Starks versus Darby Allin. We're finally getting that match.
Come on, Ricky.
Ricky Starks is great on the mic.
He's great, dude. He's a good wrestler, man. I don't crap on him. Dude puts in work and he's intense.
And I like his story. You know, he wasn't supposed to be there. It was supposed to be a one-off, and he worked his way into a prominent role of the company. So he's a great story.
Exactly. I mean, he's a little too intense sometimes, but again, he's young. So how young is he?
I'm not sure, to be honest with you.
He's in his mid-20s.
Mid-20s at least.
Yeah, so. I don't think he's any more than 25 or 26.
Yeah, because I remember when he blasted Darby, and Darby just went flying. So it's like, rein that in just a tad, and you'll be all right.
And then we get the AEW World Champion, Jon Moxley, will be appearing. So we will see what he has to say, as you guys already know if you've watched for the past half hour or so. Jon Moxley is still the champion. He'll be showing up next Wednesday on AEW Dynamite. Oh, not to mention Chris Jericho celebrating 30 years in 2 weeks from now, October 7th.
God, I'm old. I remember watching him when I was a teenager, dude.
I remember when he first came on the scene in '95 on WCW Nitro, and then prior to that, I couldn't I didn't see him on my TV. Couldn't get him on my TV. They were really, I mean, maybe ECW, but I remember reading about him in the magazines. But but my first exposure to him was '95 WCW Nitro, or maybe he came in early '96 or something right around there.
I remember he was what was it, Lionheart, Chris Jericho.
Yep.
In Japan.
And ECW,
he did the what was it? Super J Cup.
Yeah, that was a big thing at that time.
Yeah, and then he went to ECW, and then finally WCW.
And how he got into ECW was an amazing story too. About how Mick Foley was the one who found him and recommended him, and then how Paul Heyman wouldn't take his calls for a year.
Yeah, freaking guy.
So great story. Great story.
Paul's a character, man.
That pretty much wraps up our talk tonight. Episode 41 is officially in the books.
Can't wait to 44.
That's random.
Yeah,
I love 42 and 43.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I like 44 better.
It's a WWE show. Have fun.
Oh, is it? 45. Can't wait till 45. You said the dreaded three letters, man. We don't say that here.
You put that on yourself, though.
Listen, I'm gonna borrow a line from, and rest in peace, the king of Wakanda, Black Panther. We don't do that here, Randy. We don't do that here. So. We don't talk about that.
We are getting ever so close to episode 50. I am personally working on bringing a special guest on the show.
Is it Tommy? Tommy.
You said Tommy. I said Tammy Sitch.
Oh, I thought
it could be.
Hey, listen, if you can get her on here
for the right price, yeah, she'll do anything.
Jesus Christ, Randy. I guess she's not coming on. Well, there goes that special guest. Next time you. God damn it, Randy. We gotta mute you sometimes. I'm the heel. I am the heel. Do not take my heat. Freaking guy.
Make sure. Make sure you guys subscribe to Deep Six Pro Wrestling YouTube channel for this week's WWE Clash of Champions post show. Yes, we are doing a post show immediately after Clash of Champions. For those of you listening, make sure you are subscribed to that. Our post show will not be on the podcast, it'll be on YouTube only. So I can't stress this enough. Make sure you subscribe to the Deep Six Pro Wrestling channel. You guys.
I plead the fifth, man. See, I keep my comments to myself privately.
Deep Six Pro Wrestling Podcast. Subscribe now on YouTube, Twitter, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and more. Also, you can find us on www.backsportspage.com for all your sports news.
One last thing before we go. See, I'm the bad guy, but not everybody has to know how bad I am. So I keep them to myself. But go on. I'm so sorry for interrupting.
And Tommy Smith, I know you're watching. Thank you for leaving us the comments, and we all appreciate that you like
both on and off the show.
I like AEW. It's like the I like Turtles kid, right? It's just random as hell.
Make sure you guys go on backsportspage.com to find out what Tommy is writing about with the AEW articles. On there, he's been doing an awesome job and been on our shows at least once a week. So, Tommy, we appreciate you. But on that note, we are ending the show. Again, we will be back with you on the YouTube channel only this Sunday night, immediately following WWE Clash of Champions, and so make sure you guys are subscribed to that. And guys, thank you so much for watching tonight. That pretty much wraps up our show. We will see you soon.